One of the most common reasons students come to the lab is to work on outlining. Many of them have little to no experience with outlining and can become confused and frustrated trying to create a speech using this method. My students often ask me why they can't just write their speeches out manuscript style, but I explain to them that effective speeches follow effective organizational patterns. They have specific functions for introductions and conclusions, and an outline is simply the best way to make sure their speech fulfills all of its functions. Plus, an outline has a visual framework that makes it easy for the speaker to see the structure of their speech and to make sure their main points are well written and effectively supported. While the basic rules of outlining are always the same, individual instructors vary widely in their requirements for speech outlines, so you always need to ask the student for a copy of the assignment, and if they have an outline example from the instructor. The more you tutor, the more familiar you will become with each instructor's requirements. But usually the instructors will require two types of outlines for each speech: a complete sentence outline and keyword, key phrase speaking notes. Now, some instructors have limits on the number of cards or words per card that speakers can use for those speaking notes, so watch out for that. Also, all the different parts of the speech are almost always labeled, and the student is required to use some kind of number-letter system to organize the body. For instance, here's a common format for a complete sentence outline. As you can see, the student's name, topic, specific purpose statement, and central idea are always at the top of the page. Then the actual speech is broken down into its component parts: introduction, body, and conclusion. Each function of the introduction should be labeled and written out. The body of the speech is broken down by main points, usually designated by a Roman numeral. Within each of these main points, the supporting material for each point is usually designated with a capital letter. Most of the time, main points are single complete sentences, as are each of the subpoints and sub-subpoints. So instead of paragraphs of information, it will be broken down into subpoints, which are capital letters, and sub-subpoints, which are regular numbers. Transitions are used between the points to help the speech flow more easily from one point to the next. If a bibliography is required, ask what format the instructor would like the citations to be in. Usually they're either in APA or MLA format. So when you look over a student's outline, you are looking for several things. If you have an instructor's outline example, you can compare it to see if the student has followed that example correctly, point out any differences, and have the student make corrections. Has the student labeled the different parts of that outline correctly? If it's a complete sentence outline, is most of the information written in complete sentences? Usually at least main points and subpoints should be written in complete sentences. However, be on the lookout for paragraphs in the body of outlines. The student may need to break information down into subpoints and sub-subpoints. Look for source citations in the speech. If there's a lot of information that you're fairly certain the student didn't make up, ask them where they got it. Then tell them to write, either in text or parenthetically, the source of the information into the speech at those points. Ask whether a bibliography is required, and if so, what format the instructor prefers. Usually it's MLA or APA. While it's not necessarily your job to check their bibliography for errors, you should be able to refer them to the proper style guide so they can create a proper bibliography. They may ask for help with their speaking notes. If you know what the instructor requires, this will be easier. Speaking notes are generally edited down from the preparation outline into keyword, key phrase notes. The less words, the less likely the speaker will be tempted to read them and more likely to make eye contact with the audience. All public speaking textbooks have good examples of outlines. It's always a good idea to refer to them for ideas about good outline formatting. I've provided an example of both a preparation outline and the accompanying speaking notes so you can see what I require, but that doesn't mean all instructors would require the same thing. If you're unsure, give the student your best advice and tell them that if they have specific questions about their outline, they should refer them to their instructor. You can always send the instructor an email if you have a question about their specific outline formatting requirements.